Today we are talking about the Mad Pumpkin Patch, one of the great Lemax Spooky Town pieces. Guys, what's up? It is Doug, and welcome to another edition of Spooky Villages. This is a special episode. I am re-reviewing a piece. Yes, it is the Lemax Spooky Town Mad Pumpkin Patch. It is my favorite piece of all time, and I last did a review of this piece, I think 9 years ago in 2017. So I'm going to unbox this and kind of treat this as a normal review, but then once it's lit up, I am going to talk about, some personal stories I've got, personal anecdotes with this building, and also just some general Lemax Spooky Town historical stuff, because I think this is a really important piece in Lemax Spooky Town history, and I'll talk about why I think that. All right, but let's get to the actual review or re-review. This is the original box that it came in. This is an original one. This is from 2017. This is what the Lemax Spooky Town Michael's exclusive boxes used to look like. I should also say this came out in 2017 as a Michael's exclusive. It entered the main line in 2018, and then it retired in 2023. So this is a retired piece at this point. So here's the box, guys. It's the now old school, which is weird to say that, but because Lemax uses a different type of packaging now, but this is the old school styrofoam that they had in all the pieces that they used to store everything in or ship them in. And check this out, a 2017 catalog. I always keep my catalogs in my boxes of my pieces, so it's going to be fun. I'll look at this here in just a minute after talk about the piece here. Let's get it unboxed. Yes, now, this is not how it came necessarily. I've gotten this out, put it back a million times over the years, but this wraps around it right here. Okay, let's, you know what? Let's talk about the catalog real fast, and then we'll talk about the piece. So here is the catalog, guys. Check this out, 2017. Just open up here. We'll just go through kind of the buildings. Yes, the Ghost Around, the infamous Lemax Spooky Town Ghost Around came out this year. Of course, we have the Mad Pumpkin Patch, the Broken Skull Bar. I remember this. I remember Reaper's Landing. It's wild seeing this catalog. I remember walking into my Michael's and checking this stuff out, like a decade ago almost at this point. But the Reaper Motorcycle Club, that was really fun doing that video. And Haunted Mansion, I remember when this, came out. I remember all this stuff. It's just kind of funny thinking back to this. This year, I forgot that the pumpkin pickup truck, this is one of my favorite accessories that Lemax has put out over the years. I love this one. It goes with a lot of different things. And then looking at the figurines, these evil pumpkins, I display this a lot. They go in a lot of displays. We have these ready set treats. You set it to these trick-or-treaters. It's fun seeing some of these. And of course, I remember that Michael sold the Freaky Farmer that year. The Freaky Farmer, which did not come out this year, that is one of my all-time favorite Lemax Spooky Town accessories too. And I usually display that piece with the Mad Pumpkin Patch. I mean, it kind of looks like it goes with it. And here is the Mad Pumpkin Patch, guys. Check this out. Let's go around it here. I love this piece so much. Of course, you do have some animation elements on it, and you've got the pumpkin up here that swirls, and then over here on the side, you've got the pumpkins that move around here as well. Mine here has a really nice paint job and a finish on it. I appreciate how it's not super bright or anything. And by the way, if you do see some of the little foam pieces on it, I tried to get them all off here, but they'll stick on it for a little while. That is one thing that I very much like, the cardboard or whatever that the material is that Lemax uses now. You don't have all that the little foam pieces that get stuck on everything and that are hard to get off. And it's just in general it's a lot cleaner. Now this one did come with a power supply. You turn it on or off here. Power supply plugs in the back. And I love the theming on this one. It's one of the best themed pieces I think that Lemax has ever done. I love the pumpkin patch theme, and this is it's a haunted pumpkin patch. I've used this in actual haunted farms. I have used this in your pumpkin patch, agutainment, I think is what I've heard the term being used. So I've used it for different things like that. This piece just works in various different displays, and I absolutely Adore it. Really quick before we light it up though, I love all the pumpkins on this. You have so much orange on this, and of course this pumpkin style here, they have since used on pieces over the years. This kind of the general style of it, but it started with the Mad Pumpkin Patch. That was the first one here, and I love how you have the big face here. The figurines are great, and I love that the pumpkins on this. You also have like some overgrown vines. I like the vines. The details here, they look great. So I thought this would be fun. This is the concept art for the Mad Pumpkin Patch. Lemax over the years has posted various pieces of concept art of their pieces, and I thought this would be fun to compare it. You know, sometimes details get lost from the concept art to the you know the final piece. Really though, the Mad Pumpkin Patch, not very much was lost. It's pretty close to what it was in the initial design there in the art. It's pretty cool to see that. So here it is lit up, guys. It looks fantastic. The green lights look great, contrasting with all the orange that's also on the piece. I like the subtle pulse effects that are going on with the green, and it's just a wonderfully lit piece, and it really helps with the atmosphere of it all, especially inside of the you know the rotating pumpkin up there and the actual the pumpkin face on the front. They just look menacing with the lighting that's going on there, and I absolutely love it. And you know, it's not a perfect piece. I don't mean to sound like it is. To be critical on it, first off, I don't know that it really needs the animation, frankly. I think if the rotating pumpkin wasn't rotating and those pumpkins on the side of it there that rotate around, you know, if they weren't rotating and were static, you know, I still think the piece would be fantastic. I don't think they necessarily need it. And also the soundtrack isn't particularly great. I think it's an okay soundtrack as far as Lemax ones go, you know, from this era. But this year in 2026, Lemax has started putting on more of the ambient soundtracks that don't just say like the building's name and things like that. And so those are a big step up. This one does have a soundtrack of its era. It's not particularly great, but you know, compared to some of the other ones, it's all right. You know, those critiques aside though, it's just a wonderfully lit piece, wonderfully atmospheric piece, and I absolutely adore it. And that's where I wanted to talk about kind of the history of this piece a little bit, because I think it's fun to discuss. You know, in the mid 2010s, I think Spooky Town was really kind of struggling. You know, you had the golden years in the aughts, which had, you know, some of the great pieces of all time. And longtime collectors always talk about that era and how much fun it was. And, you know, I got into the hobby, though, right around, well, a few years before this came out, but I got in the early 2010s when I got in the hobby. And, you know, Lemax wasn't putting out, at least in my opinion, I should say this is all my opinion, it seemed like Lemax's better days were kind of behind them as far as the design stuff goes. And it really was like that, I think, for a couple years there. In particular, when I got really into the hobby was like 2014. And from 2014 to 2016, I really feel like that was kind of the most down period in Lemax Spooky Town history. And if not that, I think there's a couple arguments that could be made for some years right before that as well. The point being, the mid 2010s, you know, after the golden years were done, it just seems like Lemax was kind of struggling in the creativity department. In 2017, I remember when this piece came out, everybody loved it. And to me, this was like a throwback piece to kind of the glory years of Spooky Town. And the creativity was on display, and it was just so much fun. This piece had a ton of hype around it. You know, and I remember the time because so many people were freaking out about it, you know, in a good way, enthusiastically. There were, you know, some people who were saying that everybody was so excited about it, but you know, it's really not that special of a piece. It was just kind of everybody excited just because, well, it was something new that was coming out. And I felt pretty strongly at the time that that was not the case. And we're like 10 years later, and this is an all-time Lemax Spooky Town piece. So I feel that myself and many other, you know, hardcore Spooky Town fans at the time who really, really like this piece, I feel like we've been vindicated, you know, over the years. And something also that's important to talk about around this time is this is really around when like the you know, Spooky Town and Halloween villaging was really starting to take off on social media. I remember around this time, this is right when all the Facebook groups were really starting to get going and get really popular. So the Mad Pumpkin Patch came out really at a great time, and I consider that the Mad Pumpkin Patch is really what's kicked off the modern era of Lemax Spooky Town. So this came out in 2017. And really, in, you know, since 2017, I feel like every year there's at least been one or two really good pieces that have come out. So yeah, I think this was the right piece at the right time, and I think this was a really important piece for Lemax. And you know, for me personally, my channel started in 2017. the year this came out. And when I reviewed this piece, that's like really when my channel started to grow. And so I have very fond memories of that time. It was a lot of fun talking to a lot of folks on YouTube. I mean, some of you watching this, that's when I started to talk to you, or first time I talked to you was right around this time when the Mad Pumpkin Patch came out. So, you know, it's a lot of fun to think back to that time. And for that reason as well, if I didn't already, you know, love the building on its own merits, it just is a reminder of a very fun time. I don't know what else to say about it, guys. I absolutely love the Lemax Spooky Town Mad Pumpkin Patch. And for a variety of reasons, which I hope I have laid out here eloquently for you all, it is my favorite piece of all time. So that is the Lemax Spooky Town Mad Pumpkin Patch piece, guys. It was a lot of fun to do a re-review. Always like talking about this piece. Just absolutely love it. Definitely my favorite Lemax Spooky Town piece of all time. There are some that are close, but you know, this is the one that I have to say just because of all of the you know, the personal stuff with it as well, and the YouTube channel and everything. This one's just probably always going to be my number one. So comment below, guys. Let me know, what do you think about the Mad Pumpkin Patch? And hey, if you've been collecting a while, you know, what do you think about the 2010s, that Lemax Spooky Town era that I'm talking about? I'm really curious to hear what you you know, what you all have to say about it. So thank you as always for the support, guys. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you always for all the likes and the comments and the subscriptions. I really appreciate it. Here is the Mad Pumpkin Patch again with the lights and sound.